welcome Ritesh Batra, whose film Fotograf we have just watched and enjoyed. And perhaps to start on a more broad theme, as I said, in these very hectic times and also in relation to a very aggressive history of human beings, you make very gentle films. Perhaps just a word about how do you want to communicate with your films?
Oh, no, that's a good question. I guess I don't, I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about myself, so it's a hard question for me to answer. But it's a great question. I think all you can do is bring yourself to your work, and that's all a person can do. And the filmmakers that I love, and their body of work that I love, or even the novelists, their work is very unique. Like, you can watch it and say that only that person could have made that. And of course, there's the other question is if it's good or not, but that's a different question. But yeah, I think everybody should bring themselves to their work, and I just try to do that, and everything else evolves from there. But are they gentle? I don't know. Are they? I do think that I'm more interested in questions than answers. I do think I'm more interested in looking while I'm working on a movie, in searching for something, so that if I'm searching for something, hopefully the people who are watching it also can feel that. Uh, I do think that I've only made 4 movies so far. I'm still starting out, and I'm young, but I feel like in every movie I've tried to search for something, and maybe that gives it that quality that you're talking about, that it's a searching quality. But I hope it's gentle, like you said as well. If it's gentle, that's good.
To come to the film we have just watched, you put your film, your story in Mumbai, a huge city. We can feel how big it is, how many people there are living there, how many religions, different classes, and so on. But at the same time, you present it almost as a village. When Rafi, for example, goes through the street, everybody knows what is his problem with his grandmother, or they also meet occasionally just by chance. Um, did you want to perhaps present our world a little bit, that uh, it is at the same time a huge place? Like it said, also India is a big country, uh, but at the same time so small that connections between people still can happen.
Yeah, I think that happens in big cities everywhere, but especially in India. That as big as it is, it feels very, you're restricted into your own worlds, your neighborhoods, or people have a routine, and they encounter the same people. So yeah, I do feel like I've only lived in big cities all my life, whether it's Bombay or New York or London, and I've always felt like after a while of living there, it doesn't feel so big anymore. So yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. Even big places have a way of feeling small. Like, everybody's in their own version of the city. That's for sure. That's how it works. Yeah.
Um, your films are, let's say, driven by really interesting and organic characters. How do you, because you're also the scriptwriter of your films, you're the author of the film, how do you construct, let's say, your characters? How do you find them? How do you make them?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think to do this work, especially to be a writer, you have to be curious. You have to be curious about people, and I guess the kind of people that I'm curious about are the kind of people that you see in this movie or the other movie that I've made. And how do I construct them? Uh, my way of working is outlining a lot. Like I'll outline a story, and its story beats till I feel ready to write. But I think most of that outlining for me is to get to know the characters. Um, so yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I do a lot of thinking and preparing, and sometimes researching, sometimes walking around. Oh, but yeah, I feel like I have something in my head for a good year and a half before, or in some cases even more, before I feel confident enough to sit down and write actual screenplay pages. Um, but honestly, most of writing is what they say is true, that it's rewriting. So I think a lot of the good character work happens as I do subsequent drafts and rewrite, and then even before we shoot, we rehearse. And I'm always trying to write, and a lot of other directors do this as well, is to rewrite to bring the script closer to the actors. Um, so yeah, that's I think that's probably uh, like, because when it becomes a collaboration, when you open it up, when you feel happy with it, and then you open it up, I'm surprised by how much changes when I'm rewriting for the actors, when I'm trying to bring it closer to the actors. Kind of try to make it a suit that fits the actor as they are trying to get into it as well. I also try to bring it closer to them. So it becomes a nice two-way process when it works. When you're working well together, it's a real joy.
But also the characters are such a beautiful balance between, because we actually get to know a lot about them, about their history or their lives, but at the same time they remain mysterious and kind of enigmatic. You don't, and they don't speak a lot. Was this already the two main characters? Actually, they don't speak a lot. Was this already at the beginning when you started to write the script? Did you want to make the film more of a visual film, or did it come gradually? The many silences between them.
Yeah, I would say it came gradually. Also, these characters are very withheld in the sense that they don't express themselves so much. They are always looking for, they don't know what the boundaries are. They've all not been with the person like this before, from a different class, from a different world, as them. So they're not very sure of how to, you know, what to do with the other person. So I think some of it is that. Some of it is definitely that the actors are just doing a really good job. Some of it is also that when we were shooting, we took away lines. We took away lines from take to take. So some of it is that. But no, yeah, I think most of it is that it's just that these people have not met anybody like them before. You know. So yeah.
And how do you choose your actors? Okay, Navazuddin Siddiqui, who has already played in your film Lunchbox, you know him, you have worked with him. But Miloni Sania Malhotra, she's quite a young actress, has not so many films behind her. How do you find them? How do you find them also appropriate to work with them?
Oh, for her part, it is usually a mix of somebody, like in Nawaz's case, I'd worked with him before and we had a really nice time working together the last time. And then for some other parts, we just have a lot of auditions. So we did 2 rounds of auditions. We had a shorter list, and then Sanya, she auditioned for the part twice, and it just felt like a good natural fit, to see her doing the scenes. And but yeah, she's also very shy and understated, in her manners. So I think she fit the part very well, and she brought something to it that I could not imagine before. Uh, so yeah, I think a lot of her natural qualities fit the part. So Yeah, usually it's either people you know that you end up having in your mind while you're writing, or it ends up being people who come and audition for the part.
And for non-main characters, because are they all actors? Because sometimes it's so realistic, so alive that you would say you took the people from the street.
Oh no, they're all actors. They're all professional, trained actors, and they're really good at their jobs, you know. And we did some rehearsals for a week, and we formed kind of an ensemble. So it was really fun. It was really fun. Also, you know, it's much credit to them because many of them are, you know, in the background and out of focus, and we are so focused on the main characters in the movie. And it's not like professional actors don't know that, you know, they've been on a movie set before. They know, you know, how the camera works. They know when they are in focus, when they are not. So, and still to do a great job and still to, you know, show up every day, and be in character and be great in it is a real thing. It's really great, you know. It's really great.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's enjoyable to watch these scenes with friends, and of course, the grandmother is perfect.
yeah, she's lovely. She's lovely. She's a lovely actor. She
Uh,
used to be in the radio. She was, I think she was India's first female radio presenter back in the day, in the 50s. So
oh,
yeah, she's quite an institution.
super, super interesting. If there is perhaps a question from the audience, ima kdo kakšno vprašanje, kakšen komentar morda?
Stance, ne? Ah, it's very interesting. It was very interesting to me when even the stunts, I, women are very beautiful. It's rather funny question, but I noticed. You-
If all the women are beautiful in Mumbai.
yes, yes, in Mumbai, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, you know, I don't know what to say about that. I think all the women are beautiful in Slovenia, so I guess the grass is always greener, you know, on the other side.
You were, mogoče še kakšno komentar? You were saying also about how actors know when they're in focus and or not in focus, but actually your film is directed very much in this way that focus and non-focus are quite important for the focus of the viewer. So if you could perhaps tell us how this way of directing, which is quite simple but very precise, how did it evolve? Do you then think about it when you already write the film, or when you start talking with the actors and doing rehearsals?
Yeah, no, you know, it's mostly while during rehearsals because, like you said before, the actors don't talk so much. So when that happens, then you need to find other ways, you know. If the characters are not speaking much, then I think the camera has to play more of a role, uh, especially in telling the story. But you know, it's always a dance between the actors and the camera. But you know, the subtle push-ins we did, or the shifts in focus, or keeping the sort of supporting cast out of focus. I mean, those choices became very important simply because you know the camera maybe helps to reveal what somebody's thinking, or the fact that they are thinking, or what they're going through, because they're certainly not talking about it.
Hmm. Um, Also, I would say, would you agree that your film, of course, is about this, let's say, love story, but it's a lot more about this connection that comes through different worlds, but also the connection that comes from the family, from the friends, and also um, between people. And I think that it's a lot also about the class in the society, which might, on the first view, be important in India only, but also I think it's very important also all around the world. Um, did you did you consider this theme about the class something you wanted to convey all the time, or did the characters define this story that goes along?
Yeah, yeah, no, of course, because the class is the sort of the biggest division between them. These people would never meet in real life, so it's kind of, I mean, I guess that maybe that's kind of a fairy tale because of that, because something like this would never happen in real life. Like in a place like India, I mean, or most places in the world, something like a person of his stature and her stature, like a middle class girl and a poor man who lives in the slums, they would never speak to each other aside from, buying something from him, or like, just getting the photograph and paying for it and then never seeing him again. That is a more likely interaction. Um, but to stretch it into a movie and to have them meet multiple times and contemplate each other, it's just it's what, it's impossible. It would never happen. But I guess the job of the movie was to make it feel like it's believable. So I hope it's believable, but it's not something that would ever happen. I was conscious of that. Like the chances of something like this happening in real life are pretty much zero. Uh, so it was exciting. It was an exciting thing to do, to take something that would never happen and to try to make it believable. Uh, Not very different from making a movie about going to space or something. Well, I know people do go to space, but like those big space adventure movies, they don't. That's not going to really happen. This is not going to really happen either. So I guess the characters had a lot to do with making the class thing and the fact that they're meeting kind of believable because they both are looking for something. But yeah, no, I think it's a kind of a fairy tale because something like this would never happen. So I hope it's a nice fairy tale. I guess all fairy tales are nice.
Yeah, they are, especially when they're so believable. Yeah. If there is another question from the public, Mogocha, um, then I would like to say, as we see at the end of the film, the story is a story of also a story in many Indian films. It's a story of classic Indian cinema, and but you did not choose, you refer to it actually many times, and we hear the music from the films and they go to the cinema, but you did not choose to include a musical score, for example, in your film. How come?
Yeah, because, well, I would love to make a musical one day, but I think a musical should sort of help to deepen a story, not to escape from it. So I think Indian cinema is a very particular thing, the Bollywood cinema, as they call it, that the music helps to escape from the story and escape from life. And that's interesting, I think that's interesting. And it's a particular genre, but no, yeah, like I don't know, like it just never felt like a musical. Like I guess it can, to make it a believable fairy tale. Um, I mean, a musical has to be something that's in and of itself, in its own nature, is not believable. Um, but no, I would love to make a musical someday. I would love to make a musical someday. Also, I think the characters in musicals are, who help you buy into a musical are very different. They can't be so withheld like these characters. These characters are so shy and hesitant, and I think musicals need characters that are more, expressive. So we believe it when they sing, that they would sing. But no, I would love to make a musical someday. Not with these characters though, because that wouldn't be fair to them.
Looking forward to that. Could you tell us a little bit about kulfi and softy metaphor?
Okay, yeah. No, kulfi is just a very hard ice cream. It's a very hard ice cream. It's really good. It's made with dry fruits and just how ice cream is made, but it's very hard. So it's a very acquired taste. It's not easy to break. It's not easy to eat, but it tastes really good. So you have to really want it to eat it. But no, that's just basically the metaphor. That's basically the metaphor that it's really hard ice cream. It's not easy to make. It's not easy to eat. But no, I had some fun with it, I think.
Also, food is quite present in the film. And when we were younger, also studying, we were many times talking that the film without a meal or eating is not a film at all. And here you have some quite some lunch situations and so. And I think it's very filmical also. And it also grounds the fairy tale, It makes it real, I would say. Just perhaps if there is another question from the audience. Mogoče? Then I will just ask the last question. Did you invent the Campa Cola machine, or did you really find one?
Yeah, a bit of both actually. A bit of both. It's a bit of both. So there were parts of it that we did some research and we figured out how it works, and then there was parts of it like where we had to make it more cinematic, because you need something to shoot. Also, one person cannot run the whole machine, so we had to make a smaller version of it that would be believable that one person can run the whole process. So which is what that guy would do anyway. So we invented it, I would say. Also, we stole from real life a lot. But yeah, I think it was really fun. I wish we could have used it more. We could have used it more. Fun.
It's a beautiful metaphor also. I think that everybody has a drink from their childhood that has disappeared. But here then you turn it also into an opportunity of life. So it's really beautiful. If there are not any more questions from the public, then I would dearly like to thank you for this talk, but especially for your film, and hope to see your musical soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for doing this.